All right, what's up guys? In this video, we're gonna be taking a little bit of a switch from our regular stuff and we're gonna move away from sales teams and go directly into marketing. Okay, I guess it plays well with sales teams as well. We're gonna show you exactly how to figure out where the hell your revenue is coming from. So specifically attribution. We're gonna talk about how to connect your ad account. We're gonna talk about how to leverage the campaigns feature to group all of your assets and basically roll everything in so you can get really good reporting. We're gonna talk about UTMs and attribution, even at the most specific level. And we're also gonna talk about a few bonus things on how you guys can actually set up your HubSpot to feed data back to your ad account so it can improve your results over time. So with that being said, my name is Aaron Platt. I own a company called salesmomentum.io. We're one of the fastest growing HubSpot partners in the United States, and people make a lot of bad moves in HubSpot, and I don't want you to be one of them. So let's set this up and let's get this in place. All right, let's do the damn thing. There's gonna be 4 primary features or basically areas that you need to understand. And I'm gonna go through those very briefly at a high level so you guys can understand what we're actually using and how all this stuff ties together. One thing I will point out is that life cycle stage is going to be incredibly important as you get into wanting to send back data to your ads managers, to be able to optimize ads off your customers or anybody that's booked a call or anything along those lines, sending events. It's also going to be extremely important when we actually get to setting up the reporting. So if you haven't, go watch the video somewhere around here that talks about how to actually set up lifecycle stage properly. Okay. Now, with that being said, there's going to be 4 different pieces that we're going to be using. Okay. We are going to be using the ads piece to connect our ads. So all of our ad managers, whether that's Google or it's Facebook, audiences, where we're going to be creating our audiences against our lists to push that data back to our ads managers. Events, so being able to track and set up events, whether it's people becoming customers, booking a closing call, booking a discovery call, or whatever the case may be. So we can also push that back to Facebook or to Google or to wherever you guys are running your ads. We're also going to use this to basically get a broad stroke on all of our campaigns, our ad sets, and every single different thing that's running, get our ROI reporting on ad spend and all of that good stuff coming out of HubSpot. Okay. The second piece that we're going to be using is campaigns. Okay. Now, what campaigns are is basically it allows us to take the funnels, okay? So funnel, right? Think VSL, you have an opt-in, the opt-in goes to a video, the video goes to an application goes to a booking page goes to a post-booking page, so pre-call video or whatever the case may be. What we're gonna be using campaigns for is basically 3 different things, and I'm gonna talk primarily around 2, okay? Anytime we're creating a funnel, right? So let's say you have 3 funnels. You have your VSL 1, you have your VSL 2, and you have your VSL 3. And maybe they're all different angles, so they're different content. A lot of the times what people do to figure out source tracking is they create VSL 1 and then they create 4 or 5 or 6 different duplicates of that VSL with different URL slugs or different tracking pieces on those funnels. And they end up with 20, 30 funnels that they have to manage. So anytime they want to change copy, they got to go to 10 different funnels and do it. Anytime they got to switch out a booking link, they got to do it 10 times. So it just becomes completely unmanageable. With campaigns, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to just set up one funnel. And inside of the campaigns feature inside of HubSpot, we're going to be able to, which I'm going to take you guys in a sec, we're going to be able to tie all of the emails that are tied to that funnel, all of the workflows and automations that are tied to that funnel, the tracking code, the campaigns, so the actual ads that you're running to that funnel, all of the events, all of the different things that we want to track directly inside of that specific VSL is going to be all grouped inside of one campaign, okay? Now, when it comes to source, because I'm sure you're wondering how the hell do we track whether somebody came from a description link inside of one of my YouTube videos versus an Instagram story versus Instagram DMs versus paid Facebook ads versus paid YouTube ads. That's where we're actually going to go in and use tracking URLs, which is basically just UTMs, okay, in the backside of HubSpot. And we're going to tie all of those tracked basically sources directly to that campaign. Okay. Now the last piece that we're going to have to obviously do is going to be tracking codes. So how to actually get the tracking code so you can see who's viewed page 1, page 2, page 3, when they last viewed it, how many times they viewed it, all of these different things directly, whether you're using HubSpot landing pages or website builder, or you're using ClickFunnels, or you're using any different platform, you have to be able to use the tracking code to be able to get that stuff on your funnels. All right. Now, setting this up. So the very first thing that we're going to want to do, and I'm going to go to an account that I pushed some data into, is you're going to go into your ads piece and you are going to, just like it says right here, if we go into ads, you're going to connect all of your ad accounts, okay? Whether that's Facebook, it's Google, it's LinkedIn, you're going to connect all of the accounts that you're running paid traffic to. Now, when you do that, all of those accounts are going to populate and start to look like this, okay? So all of your actual ad data is going to start to populate directly inside of HubSpot. Now you can, manage your ad sequences, your drafts, all of that stuff directly in here. To be honest, I don't, but it does give me all the data I need. It allows me, whenever a new lead comes in, to track what campaign, what ad set, what creative, all those different things on how they came in. And it also allows me to track ROI, right? Now, Audiences, here's just an example I set up. Again, this is why lifecycle stage is important, what I called about, and then we have events, right? So events are going to be basically, if you come in here and you click an event, you can select whatever network you want, whichever account you want, and you can set up basically data that we want to feed over to Facebook based on the lifecycle stage that contacts or deals or whatever the case may be are falling into. So two that obviously are very good to set up would be anybody that becomes a customer, anybody that becomes evangelist. For us, evangelist is 2 or more services, customer is 1 service, right? So you're going to be able to come in here and set up 1 or 2 basically custom events that you can obviously track, but also it's going to feed good data back to Facebook. Okay, so you can optimize off of this. Now, audiences, right? When you are setting up lists, so lists inside of HubSpot. So maybe you have a master, everybody that's booked a discovery call and shown up, or everybody that's booked a closing call and shown up, everybody that's qualified, everybody that's closed. You have these master lists. You can come in here and you can create audiences from them, contact lists, right? You can search and select the list that you want, and you can tell which ad account you want to feed that back to. You can name it, you can create that, and then you can create lookalike audiences off of that basically audience. So you'll see this is master, customers, and evangelists, right? And then you have lookalike HubSpot, master, customers, and evangelists, 1% US only. So this is the ads piece that you're going to be setting up. Again, all you really need to do for this specific piece and the reason that you're here, which is figuring out the attribution stuff, is set up and make sure that your ad accounts are connected. Now, this is the next piece, which we're going to be going into campaigns. Okay. Now, inside of campaigns, right, here's a bunch of random tests and stuff that I put together. And I'm going to go back to just the demo side so we can set this up together. Each campaign, you're going to have 2 different types of campaigns. Okay. One is going to be your funnels. So whether you have 1 VSL or you have 3 VSLs, right? Anytime you have a VSL, you're going to create a campaign for it, as long as it's different content than maybe another VSL that you have set up. But let's just say you have 2 VSLs, right? One is for this specific audience or this specific thing, and one is for this specific audience and this specific service or whatever the case may be. When you come in here and you create this, you're going to start from scratch and you're going to hit next. Now we're going to name this campaign VSL 1, and we can just leave it at that. Now, one thing that we do is all of our funnels or VSLs, right, I should say, or our primary funnels that we're running traffic to, they're all going to be this red, where is it? Yeah, this orange color, okay? Now, the other type of campaign is going to be launches, okay? So if you are, for example, running a bunch of ads to a event that you're doing, so you're trying to get a bunch of ads to a opt-in page to get people so you can call them and sell tickets to your event, or maybe it's a webinar that you're running a bunch of people to, you're retargeting everybody from your lists that have opted in or booked a call but haven't closed, and you want to get them to a webinar. This is a perfect example of what we would call a launch, and all of our launches are going to be blue, okay? Now, when you're doing this, you have the campaign owner. I'll just select myself. You don't really need to mess with any of this stuff. If you want to, specify, you can drop it in here, but we're going to go ahead and hit create. Now, because we're grouping all of our VSL1 assets in here, what it's going to do is it's going to allow us to tie in, right, all of the ad campaigns that we're running. So all of the campaigns that we're running specifically to this VSL, all of the forms, so the opt-in forms that people are filling out, or the application forms or anything along those lines, so we can track that. All of the marketing emails that you're going to set up to send automatically, whether it's a drip cadence to anybody that opts in, whether it's anybody who applies but doesn't book, right? You're going to tie all of your emails that you're sending out from HubSpot into this campaign. You're also going to be able to tie in, obviously, if you're using HubSpot, all the landing pages that you have, right? For CRM, you have static lists. So if you're going to create static lists, for example, all of the people that have opted into this opted into this VSL, or everybody that's opted into this VSL and booked a discovery call, or everybody that's opted into this VSL, booked a discovery call and booked a closing call. You can set up all these static lists so you can build out basically a full campaign. And there's going to be an important reason why you're going to do that, right? Then you've got all of your workflow sequences, right? So you can tie all that stuff in here. And then, right, you have your marketing events, which I just showed you, and you have your external website pages, okay? Now, external website pages is if you're building something on ClickFunnels, or you have something in, I don't know, another funnel builder or page builder, whatever the case may be, all you're going to do is click add, and you're going to tie that URL in here. The only thing that you absolutely must have to have done to make this work is you're going to have the HubSpot tracking code set up, which I'm going to show you in just a second, okay? Now, once we have all of this stuff put together and we hit save, what it's going to be able to do, and just as an example, I'll just go to one of our old campaigns here. If you look at all of this stuff, all of these assets that we have tied in here, so if I go in here, we've got our form, our pages, our emails that we're sending out, all of our workflows, our lists, right? They're all set up inside of here as assets. And now we can look at a high level performance in all these different pieces, and also go into attribution for revenue, attribution for deal creation, bookings, all of that stuff. but it's going to give us all of the information across all of these different pieces. So across all the emails, across all of the campaigns, ads, all of these different things grouped up into this one campaign. Okay. Now, again, you absolutely have to have the tracking code set up. So once we have this campaign set up with all of our assets tied in, we have our ads accounts connected. So we're getting all of that data, and we can tie in our campaigns or our ad spend directly to our campaigns here, right? The next piece is you're going to have to make sure that your tracking code on the backside is set up. Okay. All you have to do is copy this and apply it, I think, to your header or to the body somewhere in your funnel pages, and it'll track every single time somebody views that page, clicks something, does anything along those lines, and that all of that data is going to get pushed back to HubSpot. Okay, you need to make sure that this code is on all of your funnels, landing pages, lead magnets, all that stuff. Okay, you have advanced tracking, which you can obviously go in and play with this. If you need to add multiple domains, you can do that. And then you have analytic views, which you can just tie in specific URLs or domains that you want to separate kind of analytics between. So if you wanted to see all of the page views versus opt-ins versus calls booked and all that stuff, and you wanted to see it separately from abc.com to abcxyz.com, you didn't want that data just grouping together, you could separate that by obviously analytics views. Okay. Now, this is where this gets really cool. Now that we have our ads connected, we're pushing good data back to Facebook. We have all of our primary funnels grouped into campaigns. So all of our main website as a campaign, our VSL1 as a campaign, our VSL2 as a campaign. Right now we can start setting up attribution tracking. Okay. Now, when we go into tracking code and analytics, you have all these different options for revenue attribution, deal creation attribution. You can go in here and play with this, but what we're going to be looking at is tracking URLs, which is basically just UTMs, right? Now, if we're creating a UTM, let's say I wanted it for our VSL funnel 1, right? So let's say that was lp.salesmomentum.io/training, right? Let's just say that's the URL, right? I can go in and select the campaign. So I just created VSL1 campaign. So let's say this is the opt-in page for VSL1 campaign, right? Now I can select a source. So essentially what you're going to be doing is, for example, if I have organic social and my UTM source, I want to set up all of my stuff for YouTube, right? So let's say I have 3 areas where I put the links for YouTube. I have the actual video description. I have my YouTube description link, right? So my actual profile page link, and then I have my pinned comment link. What I'm going to be able to do now is set up this organic social as the source. My UTM source is going to be YouTube, and I don't need to do anything with term. We don't really mess with this all that often. You guys can, right? But what I'm going to be doing here is YouTube dash profile description link, and I'm going to go ahead and hit create. Now, when I create this, right, now I have my actual UTM link, and I can obviously use this every single time I now put any kind of link in my YouTube description. I can now go back in here and do the exact same thing, select VSL campaign, source, organic social, YouTube, and now let's say this is YouTube video description, okay? And I can create all of the different UTMs that I'm gonna be using. Now, another example would be Instagram. Right? I'm going to create 3 different links, one for my link in bio, one for anytime I post a link directing to this funnel inside of my Instagram story, and then one that I'm going to use for DMs, right? Now, I can also obviously go in here and say, instead of organic social, this is paid social, right? So it's paid social. I'm running YouTube ads, and for UTM content, I'm just going to leave this as that. It's YouTube, paid social. So I'm seeing all of my actual leads, deals, revenue, etc., that are attributed to paid traffic from YouTube, okay? Same thing if I wanted to do, for example, LinkedIn, or I wanted to do paid for Facebook, right? So you can basically come in and create all of the different UTM basically tracking codes that you're gonna need for your funnel, okay? So instead of creating multiple funnels and duplicating it and creating all these different slugs, all you're doing is you're creating these UTMs and you're tying them directly into the campaign, okay? Now, just to boil this back down so it's really simple, connect your ad accounts, create a campaign for each one of your unique funnels, okay? If you have, for example, like I talked about, you have VSL1, and then you have VSL1B for organic and VSL1C for paid, and you have all these different funnels, you're just gonna need one funnel, okay? One funnel per each unique, basically, funnel that you're setting up, okay? You're gonna create your campaigns, you're gonna tie in all of your emails, all of your landing pages, all of your automations, your lists, anything that's directly associated to that funnel, you're gonna tie it into that campaign, okay? Then you're going to go and you're going to make sure that you have your actual tracking code set up on those pages. So you're going to copy this and go drop it in. And then you're going to go create a spreadsheet, and you're going to create all the different sources that you need that are pointing directly to that funnel. So AKA all the YouTube organic spots, YouTube paid, Facebook paid, Instagram organic. You're going to create all of those different URLs so that anytime your marketing team or you or whoever is doing anything, they know exactly what URL to use to basically direct the traffic properly to that specific funnel. Okay. Now, once this is all set up and everything is said and done, you will have a very easy way just directly within the campaign to see obviously all of your UTM revenue based on whether it's from from people clicking inside of your video description on YouTube, or it's from Instagram stories, or it's from paid Instagram or paid YouTube or paid LinkedIn or whatever the case may be. But you're going to only have it all tied to one funnel. Okay. Now, when it gets to reporting, that's a completely another video that's probably going to take quite a bit of time to go through. But because you're now using campaigns and you have everything set up properly through the UTMs and all these different things that HubSpot is basically built off of, so it'll basically make it really easy for you to track this stuff. Now you can go in and you can start creating reports, and you can start building attribution reports and tying in whatever you want. I'll just say create from scratch. I'm going to go next. And all this stuff is going to be tied not only to campaigns, but also to different sources. So if you wanted to add a dimension or anything along those lines, you can go in and basically tie it directly into campaigns or UTM sources or mediums or anything along those lines, and you can make your attribution reporting really easy. Okay. Now, a lot of what you're going to need is already going to be directly tied in the campaign. Okay. So if you have any questions around this, go ahead and comment below. I'd be happy to get back to you. There's also a link down below that you can go ahead and click and submit any questions that you have. They come directly to me. I always get back to them as fast as I can, and I always get back to them with a step-by-step breakdown screen share. So with that being said, I hope this video is helpful for you guys. I hope a lot of this didn't go over your head, and that you do set this up properly, because if you do this correctly, it is going to make your life so much freaking easier. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.